Welcome back. My name is Eden Izora, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. And we are doing another episode of our ASMR podcast. And yeah, before I started recording, I kept saying to my dog, who's over there, podcast. I don't know why, but I have been in kind of a talk out loud to myself and Lexi mood today. I've been feeling really good, honestly, these past few days, and so I figured let's share the good energy, and we'll see if we can help you relax. But also we will talk about some topics. We will talk about topics. So, although this will be, as usual, very chill, we are also going to actually talk about stuff, so it hopefully will be interesting to listen to as well. Like one big ramble, basically. And you know what's funny? This week I have been experimenting with a new type of workout routine, which basically entails just going, because I have a little room with workout equipment in it, designated to working out. And so I go there pretty much first thing after I wake up, and I sit on the floor and watch a video or do something chill while I stretch. And I'm really putting the most importance on stretching. And then after, I do this while I drink my Celsius. And once I start, feeling that energy moving, and I kind of loosen my body up and get the blood flowing gently, I turn music on, and then I kind of just let whatever wants to happen. And for me lately, that has included a lot of dancing, and it's very fun, and I do it for long periods of time. I don't even pay attention to how long, just whatever feels right. And then, I might do weightlifting after that, depending on the day, but there's really no pressure. It's just kind of intuitive. And it's really nice because I am actually somebody who throughout my life, I've kind of felt awkward dancing. It's not because I didn't want to, it's because it just felt impossible. Like, I remember a couple years ago, I was at my friend's place, and she had some friends there, and her family was there, and they were playing music, and a couple people were dancing, and my friend started dancing, and she was like, "Come on, you didn't dance, whatever." And I really wanted to. Like, it's not because I thought I was too cool to dance, or because I wanted to just, not. It literally was like, I don't know, it felt like I didn't even have access to move my body. I just felt stiff and awkward, and that's kind of been the norm for me, especially like in the past 10 years or so. Unless I was drinking when I used to drink, and then I would, I guess, dance. I don't know, I would do whatever, but I feel like just allowing myself to really feel the music and starting slowly with, static stretches just to kind of get in touch with my body first is really good, because it kind of helps me be like, okay, this is where I am. And then once the music starts, I just start to slowly get into it and want to move in certain ways. And because I'm in private, that also removes, that fear of looking stupid or not doing it right, not having good rhythm. And it's not about being perceived, it's about experiencing and just being in my body. And I feel like for me, that's something that it almost feels like I just got a body because I've been so cerebral and kind of like disconnected from my body for so long that as I'm learning to connect to my body and use it in a fun way, it feels exciting, and it feels like, like I just got a body. So that's cool. I don't know if that sounds weird, but yeah. And it's cool because I kind of visualize while I'm dancing, and I visualize my aura all around my body. Like, when I'm dancing, I kind of can see it in my mind's eye, pink, and then I imagine, I literally push out and up with my arms, and I imagine like a golden white light all around me, and I kind of just intuitively started doing that a few days ago. Nobody told me to do that. I didn't see that in a video or anything, but it just came into my mind as I was dancing, and I was like smiling and just feeling it and feeling so good, and imagining light coming down into my bubble. But it's very like trippy and cool, so I like that. So I've been doing that. But yeah, hopefully this is just the start, and I will be doing more cool things with my body, like more fitness related stuff, and also just going places, being a person and stuff. So, you know what I mean? I really do think that there might be a lot to explore in this map that I now have unlocked by choosing to inhabit my physical body. Anyways, I feel like I'm saying this in a weird way, but you know what I mean. Maybe. But yeah, it's cool, and I'm just gonna go with the flow. I don't want to force it or push myself to the point that I get drained and overwhelmed and stuff. So yeah. But something that I've been thinking about was, oh yeah, I have this list in my notes app called very specific turn-ons. It's such a weird way to say it, but like basically it's weird things that I am attracted to that you might not expect. And I started it a few months ago because I started noticing these very atypical moments where I would just be overcome with a feeling that was similar to when you see somebody really attractive, but it was not that. So I'll give you some examples. And I was reminded of this because on an app there was a prompt that said something I find weirdly attractive is, and then you answer, and I put this first one, which is when you're driving in the car and there's a car pulling up on your left, like if you're in the middle lane and you're just driving, and then in the corner of your eye you see a car pull up, and like for that moment that the car is like kind of coming up, like I don't know, I get like tingles in my ear, and I'm like it's almost like if you're hanging out with your crush and like they touch you. It's that feeling when the car is right there in my peripheral. I think it might be ASMR. I think it's visual ASMR because it's that peripheral contact. Not contact, but you know. And yeah, so that, and then another one that's kind of weird is when I'm texting someone and we play iMessage games. We play 8-ball, and when they are good at it, like I'm okay at it, you know, but when they're good at it and I watch, you know, let's say it's my turn and I watch how they played before when it was their turn, and it's literally just a little video of their gameplay from their turn, and I watch them line up the thing and then hit the white ball, and it hits the colorful balls and goes into the little thing. Especially if they have a turn where they hit one, and then if you get one in, you get to go again, and they do that multiple times. It's very attractive. And I always try my best, so I would never let anyone win. So when somebody's able to win, even though I'm trying my hardest, I find that very attractive. So yeah. And another thing would be, this is kind of weird. It's really like, again, kind of just a random thing that I thought of when I was at the beach. But I was sitting by the water and just watching the wave come in and break and then kind of like go over the sand. Like it's just a really like sleek, small amount of water going so smoothly over the compact sand, and it's clear, and then it just pulls back, and yeah, it gives me that same feeling where I'm like, oh my god. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really think maybe it's an ASMR thing and not so much an attraction thing, but it feels like, you know, it's triggering that same part of my brain. And another one is when I'm going through a drive-thru, like Starbucks or whatever, and again, this is not about actually being attracted to the person. It could be anyone. It's not like it's a person that I'm interested in. But when they go to hand me my drink and they just give me that eye contact and they say, "Have a great day." And that just really does it for me. Okay, I feel embarrassed. I don't know if I want to post this, but like, it's those intense little moments that feel intimate, and they just, yeah, I guess that's what it is. It's kind of giving a touch-starved vibe, to be honest. But yeah, those were things that I was thinking about. And for actual, like, if I see somebody doing this thing, it makes them more attractive, would be if they are good around other people and they're relaxed. I think for me, that's because I struggle with that. Sometimes I can be really stiff and awkward, and so when I observe somebody who's very just comfortable being themselves around other people, and other people like them and get along with them, I think I really find that an attractive quality. Yeah, it's so funny because, like, with the social anxiety stuff, I'm working on it, and I think I'm doing better at it with, you know, the way that I behave when interacting with people. But like today I went to the store because I lost the back of one of my earrings, and I just wanted to get new ones to just be in there so the hole doesn't close. for my second piercing. And so I went to the store and I felt really confident walking in, you know. I looked super cute, if I do say so myself. I had a nice little matching outfit on, and I don't know, I felt good. And I walked around, I got what I needed, I focused on my experience and not so much about how others were perceiving me. Well, I was trying to, but it's hard. I always accidentally switch to thinking about how I'm being perceived. So then I went to check out because I got everything I needed, and there was a lady working there, a young lady, probably mid-20s, and she called out. She was helping someone else, and I was in line, and we were probably about 10 feet away from each other, and she called out, "I like your skirt." And I was like, "Oh, thank you," but I immediately felt awkward and happy but awkward. And then I went up to check out because it was my turn, and I wanted to tell her that I had this skirt in a lot of colors and, you know, practice making small talk, whatever. So I started to say that at the same time that she started to say, "Did you find everything that you needed?" And so it was awkward. Not that awkward, but I'm just describing it so you understand the little awkward moments that I have, I guess. And so, yeah, we both started talking at the same time. And then I let her finish, and I said, "Yes." And then I, awkwardly kind of choked out what I was gonna say. And she said she has this same skirt in a different color, and we had a little conversation about it. But the way I was acting was very stiff and not smooth, you know? But I didn't feel bad about it, you know? I felt like it's a step in the right direction, you know? And I think it's all about experience, and because I have kind of been such a homebody for the past many years, mostly the past one, you lose practice, and that's fine. I'm not naturally awkward. I mean, in some ways, but it's not I'm very good with people when I have experience, when I have practice, and when I actually talk to people, you know. After a little while, I start being normal, but I don't know. Interesting experience. But yeah, I haven't addressed the fact that I am not in my chair. I'm in my bed. My bed. I'm in my bed because I don't know, I thought it could be fun and cozy and mix it up a little bit. I think my sister is using the blender, because I keep hearing a blender noise. So hopefully you couldn't hear that. But if it starts again, I will take a pause. But yeah, I'm feeling really good about this next chapter of embodiment. And oh yeah, I did want to talk about rejection therapy. So I don't know if you've seen those TikToks, but there are people who will go and ask people for ridiculous things just so that the person will say no, and they have to overcome that feeling of rejection, but about something that doesn't matter. So, for example, they might go to a store to buy something, and when they get to the counter, they'll ask, "Can I have it for free?" And of course, the people say no, and they have to be like, "Oh, okay, I was just checking, thank you." And it's called rejection therapy. So basically, it's to help people who have a hard time putting themselves out there because they're afraid of rejection, and it allows them to practice being rejected in meaningless ways. And of course, it's like exposure therapy, where you just expose yourself to what you're afraid of in a safe environment, and then slowly your fear fades. And in a weird way, this is kind of like exposure therapy, rejection exposure therapy for me, because I'm putting myself out there, even though it's a kind of a safe way to do it, because I record things and then I post it, but I'm alone when I record it, so I don't feel eyes on me right now. If anything, maybe one eye, because it's like the camera is an eye, but I don't feel a lot of eyes, and I don't feel overly perceived, because if I do something weird, I can choose after the fact to post it or not. So it gives me a certain level of control. So eventually, I'm gonna do more rejection therapy in the real world, by just putting myself out there and letting people actively perceive me, and just, let them reject me if they want. But yeah, through making videos and posting online, it's great rejection therapy, because guess what? A lot of people will reject you. A lot of people reject me. Every day. It's something that you kind of have to accept as part of it, and it is hard, especially if, you're somebody who hasn't really worked on that weakness of wanting people to like you, which, it's not fully a weakness. I think it's a spectrum. So for some people people who really don't care if people like them or not. Maybe they should start to care a little bit. But then there are people on the other side where they care a lot and they want to be conscientious of others and they don't want to make other people feel bad or upset, but they're stopping themselves from being their full self in case it might offend someone, which obviously anything you do will offend someone because there's 8 billion people or something, and everyone has their own worldview and their own rules that they live by, and a portion of those people try to enforce their rules and their worldview onto others. And if it's not aligned with you, then you're gonna feel horrible trying to live based off of some random person's values that don't even make sense to you, you know? So yeah, rejection therapy. I want to try using that mentality when I am out and about and, just do things that are different for me or out of my comfort zone. And if people give me a dirty look, just think of it as rejection therapy, and I feel like that will make it hurt less, because it'll feel like there's a point to being judged and it's all adding up for something. I did also want to talk about limerence a little bit. So if you are not aware of what limerence is, it is when you have an intense obsession with a person, typically romantic, that is either completely one-sided or it's not based in reality. So, for example, in my case, let me just say first, limerence is my vice of choice at the moment, but not really even anymore. I'm getting over it, and I'm pretty sure, I don't want to speak too quickly, but I'm fairly certain my recent obsession has ended. You don't know because, it comes and goes, but I think it's over, and I like to think that that was the last of that. But it's addictive to be obsessed with someone, especially and probably only if it's someone that it will never work with for whatever reason. A lot of the times it's because that person lives far away, or they don't like you as much as you like them, or they're emotionally unavailable or avoidant in general, and or other things, like if they are literally dangerous, or if they are, it could be that they're in a relationship, or they don't want to be with you for some reason out of their control, or just that they're bad for you and maybe they're not in alignment with your vision, and you logically don't want to be with them, and so you won't. But that kind of barrier makes you want them more and obsess over them. So for me, I've had a variety of obsessions with people, and it's been for various reasons, but I would say the most common reason, or the reason that we're not together, because the thing about limerence is that if the other person likes you back and the same amount, then it's over, because you can only be obsessed with someone when there is space between you. If you meet someone and you like them a lot and they like you a lot, then you are together, you spend time together, you communicate, there's no mystery, there's nothing to obsess over. There's not enough space for you to go into your imagination and create this fantasy, because you're in reality. And yeah, so the obsession or the limerence starts when there is space and you can't be with the person for whatever reason. And that is bad, obviously, because it drains your energy. That's the main reason that I don't like it. I do prefer this vice over other vices, like drinking, for example, or even smoking. Those things are, in my opinion, more detrimental to, at least for me, for my goals. They sabotage me more intensely and more quickly. Well, not smoking, that's kind of slow, but you know what I mean. And I don't drink or smoke, for the record, anymore. But limerence is kind of a tricky thing, because it's in the background of your mind, slowly draining your energy. But it's so fun, to like think about your crush and like imagine stuff, or just always have that kind of energy between you, the push and the pull, and the games and the distancing, and then coming back together, and then staying distant, and it's very fun. It's very fun, but it also is very meaningless, I guess. That's the thing, right? It's not that bad. I'm like talking myself into thinking that being obsessed with people is fine, but no. There are reasons that it's bad, and a big part of it is because when you are obsessed with someone and that person does not feel the same way about you, even if they like you, but they just don't like you as much as you like them, you end up sacrificing your self-respect. Even if it's in little ways, which for some people, they do it in big ways. They completely sacrifice their self-respect. And I've had times where I would do that. Nowadays, I don't sacrifice my self-respect that much, but I have done it a little bit. For example, if I'm obsessed with someone and we hang out and they do something disrespectful to me, if it was somebody I was not obsessed with, I would just be like, ew, what? No, I'm not gonna continue talking to this person. They disrespected me. But when it's somebody that I am limerent over, I kind of can make up excuses for their bad behavior and, talk myself into giving them more chances that they probably do not deserve. And yeah, honestly, it just feels bad. It feels good, but also bad. So I'm kind of over the limerence, and especially the last person that I was limerent over. It gets boring. It gets really boring because you already know everything that they have to offer, and you get to a point where you realize that the only thing that you're attracted to about them is the fact that you know you are in no danger of being in a committed relationship. And I think that, for me, is the issue, because relationships, or the idea of commitment in a romantic way, is dangerous. And so I think it's subconscious. I'm not consciously choosing it, but I think I like people that I know it'll never work with. Because it on a certain level makes me feel safe, But yeah, hopefully that was the last one. And I try to do, there's that thing people say to do, which is love them until you hate them, which sounds super toxic, but really it just boils down to, don't fight it, because at least for me, when I'm obsessed with someone and I want them so bad and I just want to, be with them, when I try to forget about it, that's when it becomes even a bigger thing in my mind. Like when I try to ignore it. But instead, lately, I've kind of, not right now, but like in the recent past, when I was limerent over someone, I kind of gave into it and allowed myself to answer if they texted me, or if they texted me and then I just wanted to call them, I would let myself call them. And when I let myself do those things, and keep in mind, I did not do it in a weird, creepy way. I would never blow up somebody's phone, text multiple times, call multiple times. That's very, very disrespectful. So do not do that to someone. I've had people do that to me, where they were limerent over me and they called me or texted me a bunch of times in a row, and it's very rude to do to somebody, so don't do that. But yeah, just calling somebody one time, for me, if it's somebody that I know I'm limerent over, I don't want to call them because I'm afraid that it will feed the obsession. But at the same time, I feel this desire. And so, in this one instance I'm thinking of, I felt the desire and I felt the resistance, and I gave in to the desire, and I did the action while being aware and watching myself and realizing, okay, you want to call this person, right? let's see what happens when you do. Let's see what they talk about. Let's see how they act. Let's see how you feel when you're interacting with them. And when I allowed myself to follow that path and do that, I got to witness how boring the interaction that I was desiring so much was, and realized that maybe it's not that I was desiring. Maybe I was desiring that feeling of that feeling of the feeling of desire in a weird way, of like wanting what you can't have. And so it's almost like the resistance is what's attractive. And once you're aware and you just observe yourself in the cycle, it quickly fades. But again, do not think that I am saying you should follow your desire to text somebody a bunch of times or call them a bunch of times or do anything annoying, because that's wrong, disrespectful, gross behavior. And when people do that to me, I get very grossed out. So don't do that to people, and I don't do that to people ever. But anyways, I hope that you understood what I was saying. Yeah, it's kind of random. And I think that's all I wanted to talk about for today. I don't even know how long we've been going, but I know this is a shorter episode. So yeah, I'm going to go. I love you. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon? ? Oh yeah, and I did say that this episode would be about my spiritual awakening, but I just wasn't feeling ready to do that. So it's not. It's about random stuff. But yeah.